gear review. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm reviewing my gear, all my camera and lenses for 2020. I sold a lot of lenses and cameras. Yeah, I did sell one camera, that is the A7RII, and I haven't sold a camera since then. I sold a whole bunch of lenses, the Samyang manual lenses. I sold them all, and including some really nice, really good autofocus Sony native lens, like the Sony 18-105 f4 lens. I sold that one. I sold the 24-240, the super zoom lens. I sold that one, and I even sold the Sony 85 f1.8 because I'm not using it for portrait. I'm not shooting portrait, and sold those lenses. And I got a bunch of new stuff, so I'm gonna show you what I have right now for 2020 and possibly also 2021, because you know this year we're stuck at home. We're not getting any new toys, and yeah, we're not even shooting with this. We're just sitting here like a collection. I'm just looking at them every day and wonder when I would be able to go out again. Anyway, the first one, gotta talk about the good old A6300. This camera has been with me since 2017, I think. It's been 3 years. Yeah, it's been 3 years. This is my oldest camera right now. At first I had the A7, the original A7RII, which didn't shoot very good video, so I wanted something to shoot 4K, so I picked A6300. At the moment, the price was super high. It was like around 1,000 euros in Europe here. And right now you can find this camera for like maybe 600 euros. The price dropped really a lot over the 3 years, also because you know we got a lot more awesome, fantastic options like a 6400, 6300, 6600 and 6100. Those new cameras, they would drive these cameras price down. And it's still a very good camera, so it's a really good value if you want to get into 4K. You can consider a 6300 or a 6100. I think they are they're very similar. And a 6100 doesn't have as good a build quality, and it doesn't have S-Log, doesn't have picture profile, but I don't think that's a big enough problem, so I would just go for the A6100 if I choose between those cameras, because it has a flip-out screen and it can shoot 4K as well, and it's super fast, the latest autofocus technology and everything. I believe you will love that camera. But A6300, if you can get it for a second hand, it's gonna be awesome, because it's a still very capable camera for still as well as video. So I got this a little pancake kit lens 16-50. Very recently, I got it on eBay. Since I sold my 18-105 lens, I don't have all-around zoom lens on my camera. I really want something to vlog with, because this is so light and easy to carry with. So I want something small I can put in my pocket and just shoot everyday stuff. That's why I got this lens. After 3 years, I got a kit lens again, because when I first got this camera, it was body only. And I really like this kit lens. It's small, it's compact, and image quality is not the best image quality, and when you turn on the camera, it actually zooms out. Well, oh, okay, there you go. It actually zooms out, and it doesn't have a lot of bokeh, and it's not very good in low light. It's 3.5 to 5.6, but I like that it starts from a 16mm, which means it's wide enough for vlogging, and it's really, really lightweight, and you can easily use it to vlog and put it on a gimbal as well. So that's that. It's very nice all-around carry-around camera. And here is my Sony 10-18mm, the ultra-wide angle lens. Very nice, small, compact. I made a review video about this lens as well, so you can check that out. And yeah, I really like this lens. I enjoy shooting with this lens a lot. This is perfect for vlogging. It has a very nice wide angle view, and it's image stabilized as well, so it works really well on my A6300, although the image stabilization is not as good as for example Panasonic. This is something I use for landscape and a vlog. Yeah, this is really awesome. Next, I want to talk about the A5100. Oh, I bought this camera last year or end of 2018, like 2019, I think. Yeah, I bought this because it has flip out screen. At the time the A6400 came out, I was like, why bother spend €1,000 on camera that pretty much just like A6300 but with a flip screen? So I got this one instead. I can shoot 1080p. Oh, okay, well, that's the only issue. As like the 1080p footage is kind of soft on Sony APS-C lineup, so the video come out of this camera is actually not that impressive, but you can add some sharpening in post or in camera, and it's decent enough. And yeah, it's a very nice little niche vlogging camera. You don't have the mic jack, so it means you can't use a microphone on it. There's nowhere you can mount a microphone either. It doesn't have the hot shoe, and it has a touch screen. So you can touch focus, just like a A6500. So this camera is actually a premium model in the A5000 series, but I don't think Sony is continuing with the A5000 series anymore. It's focusing on the A6000 series. Another fun little lens I got is the Neewer 25mm f1.8, I think. Yeah, f1.8. Tiny little lens, metal build actually, so you can feel the weight. It's not that heavy, but considering how small it is, actually a little heavy for its size. And it's a nice control here. Aperture ring is declicked, and focus ring, everything is smooth. The only problem is that my copy is decentered, so on the right side of the frame, your right side of the frame, it has this soft issue. So when I shoot photo or video, I can see very clearly on the right side of the frame it's soft, and on the rest of the frame it's clear and sharp. And I tested it in different apertures, so it's not the problem with the aperture. It's just the lens itself, the decenter is really a shame. It could be a very nice lens because I like 25mm on a full frame. It's like 38mm. I really like the frame. I like the angle of view of 35mm. So that's why I got this lens. But it's a pity. That's why I'm not using this lens that much. Next, the Sony A7RII. This has been my dream camera for many years, since I started learning photography and got into photography. What I really love about this camera is the 42 megapixel sensor. Obviously, the megapixel count, so you get a really nice detailed image out of this camera, especially pair it up with a sharp lens like a Tamron 28-75. You have just gorgeous photos. And it also shoots 4K video, which is why I chose this camera. It shoots 4K internally, up to 30p, and you can shoot in full frame mode or APS-C mode. The full frame mode is not as good as the APS-C mode. Yeah, so if you want to get a higher image quality, you should shoot crop mode on this camera. Ideally, get a crop lens on it. But I bought this camera for full frame, for the big sensor, big pixel count, so I didn't bother to mount any APS-C lens on it. I just use my full frame. I shoot 4K in full frame. In daytime, no problem. In low light, it's gonna suffer a lot. It's gonna be really ugly, the 4K. So be careful. If you wanna shoot low light, 4K video, it's better to use APS-C mode, use crop mode on this camera. Other than that, it's a fantastic camera. It's awesome, very customizable, ergonomically. I really like it. So people complain about Sony being too small, the grip too tiny, but for me it's perfect because I have my hands is not huge, so it fits my hand perfectly. And I got this one for, used, like I think it's open box, because when I got it, it's like a brand new. I didn't see any sign of use. But it was at a pretty big discount, so I was super happy, and the quality is really nice. Alright, this is this, and the Tamron 28-75. This is one of my favorite lenses. It shoots a really nice sharp image, very sharp lens, and gives you very wonderful bokeh, and it's budget friendly. It's only about 800, 700 euro. It's really nice, affordable for this kind of a high quality lens. This is what I use when I shoot something close up. I get close up, get bokeh, and get subject separation. For example, I shoot someone cooking, the process of cooking. You can focus on the hand chopping the vegetables. It's really nice. Or if I want to shoot portrait, it can give you a really wonderful bokeh, and it's really versatile. 35mm to 75mm. All this focal range they can be used for portraits. It's really nice. It is not wide enough, and it's only 28mm, which I don't really like it. It's like the kit lens, full frame Sony kit lens 28 to 70. I don't really like 28. It's just a little bit too tight, I just want a little bit more breathing room. It's psychologically depressing me, this lens. That's why I don't use it as much. If it's 24, oh, that would be crazy. That would be so wonderful. But Sigma has this 24 to 70mm lens, f2.8, just came out last year. It was a little bit expensive for me at the beginning. Also, I already have this lens, so it doesn't make sense to get that lens just for the 4mm wide angle. So didn't buy that one. Moving on to a big lens. This is the Sony 70 to 200mm f4 G lens OSS. This one is a really nice lens. I got this one because one day I was shooting tennis in my tennis club with my 24 to 240 super zoom lens, and I found it's really difficult to find focus. It's really difficult to shoot clean image because it was indoor in kind of a tent. We have the tent in the winter because it's cold. So yeah, the lighting condition isn't really good, and it was really difficult to capture subject because the lens is not as fast when it's zoomed all the way in. And aperture is like a 6.3, so really little light, very little light. So very difficult to work with. So that's why I sold that lens along with the 18 to 105 the crop lens, and I got this lens instead to just specialize in sports. But right now, we're in lockdown, we can't play tennis anymore, so this lens also sit at home, sitting with me, doing nothing. But sometimes, I can shoot something interesting, like a bird, like a few days ago, a bird landed on our balcony, and I get a chance to shoot the bird with this lens. I'm A6200, so we get nice longer range, as long as about 300mm. So that's really nice for shooting animals in close range. And I tried to shoot in a park to shoot birds. It's really difficult. It just doesn't have the reach. It can't shoot birds on the tree. Like when I get close enough to have the bird clearly in the frame, the bird would just fly off. And yeah, if you want to shoot wildlife, this one is not your choice. It's not long enough. You need at least 300mm, 400mm, those kind of lenses. It will be much bigger. This one is compact. It's relatively small. It's actually not much heavier than a standard zoom lens, like a 24 to 105 lens. And it has a very nice function. AF/MF full to infinity to 3 meters. Autofocus range, optical steady shots, mode 1, mode 2. There's 2 types of OSS you can choose from, and you have 3 buttons that you can use for focus hold button. Very nice, really good quality, nice sharp image. It's as sharp as the 85 f1.8, I believe. I tested once. And at the 200mm, you can also get a really nice bokeh. So I really like this lens. I just need more opportunity to use this lens. Alright. All the footage before was shot on the A7S II, and now I switch with the A7R II. Right now I'm shooting on my A7R II instead with the Tamron 28 to 75 lens. So now I'm going to talk about the A7S II. This is also my dream camera. It has incredible low light capability. Like I shot a bunch of videos in low light in Rome, and it's just beautiful. It's just crazy. You can see the sky. You can see the sky, the cloud in pitch dark condition. You can see the cars on the streets in just pitch dark condition. Like you can't see things with your naked eyes, but you can see with a camera. It's just ridiculous. The ISO goes really high. I usually set my ISO at 12,800 maximum, and it can go up to, oh, this is crazy, 409,600 ISO. This maximum ISO. And for me, I think it's most useful under 12,800. That's the limit I set. I like to use. And I enjoy shooting S-Log2 on this camera. It's just fantastic. It gives you so much dynamic range. Well, the photo side is a little bit lacking. It's only 12 megapixels, so the photo is not as good. But I do enjoy shooting photos with this camera as well, because exactly because the file size is so small, so easy to handle, and it's so fast to edit and export. And for example, the A7RII have 42 megapixel files, and if you shoot raw, uncompressed raw, the file size is really huge, and it takes forever for me to edit, and that's a little bit downside. So if I know that it's not a very deliberate shoot, then I can just shoot with my A7S II and get a really fast workflow and get the photo out really quick. That's the advantage for this camera. And if I know I want to shoot something really awesome, I want to try the best I can to shoot something beautiful, I will use the A7RII to get maximum pixel counts. So I have this nice two options I can choose between. About autofocus, it's notoriously bad on the A7S line. I did find it a little bit difficult, but when I shoot like first person, when I use the camera behind the camera, when I'm behind the camera, it's actually not that big a problem, because I can just focus on things by half pressing the shutter, and it will focus pretty fast. For me, I don't really need a super lightning fast autofocus like A6200. It's just super fast autofocus. Sometimes when you get really up close and when the depth of field is really shallow, then it will suffer a little bit, or the autofocus is gonna slow down. It will hunt a little bit, maybe. Depends on your setting, how you set where the focus point is. So yeah, autofocus can be an issue if you rely heavily on autofocus. For example, when I shoot a vlogging style with this camera, like right after I click record button, I will also have pressed the shutter button just to help the camera to find focus on my face. That's a little trick I do. Otherwise, it will be out of focus for 30 seconds before it finds focus. By then, my little video clip is already done. So I'm not really a manual focus guy, so I always use autofocus, and I find it good enough for for what I do. And another problem, I got this used, so it's also very cheap. So only €1,000, just a little bit over €1,000. So it's much cheaper than the market price. And you can see the sign of use. Obviously, the previous owner is a professional videographer, so he used this camera very heavily for a few years, and yeah, you can see the sign of use, but it's still in good condition. The only problem is there are some dead pixels on the sensor. I discovered much later after the transaction. It's on top of the frame, like here. When there is specific background, like when you're shooting blue sky, you can see it, some pink pixels that are dead, like 3 of them or a few of them. Some pixels scattered on top, a little bit to the right of the frame, which is annoying, but you can't really see it if you are, if you're not watching 4K, if you're not watching on a big monitor, you probably won't notice it. And also, if it's a white background, black background, you won't see it. Or if the background is busy, you won't notice it because it just blends in with whatever it is in the background. Only when, so far I discovered only when it is blue, you will see it very clearly. Those dead pixels. That's it's a pity, but yeah, well, we pay the price. The price is low, so actually I don't mind it that much. I'll continue using this camera as much as I would. Anyway, next one, move on to the awesome zoom lens, the 24 to 105 Sony G lens at f4. So it's a very nice focal range. I got this after the Sigma 2470 f2.8 was announced. I thought, why bother spending €1,000 on a lens that is pretty much just like a Tamron, but a little bit wider. So why not get more range by sacrificing a little bit of the aperture? It's f4, one stop slower than f2.8, no big deal. Actually, when you zoom into 105, the bokeh is comparable. It's really nice as well. And you don't really need crazy bokeh. If you want bokeh, you can use other lenses. I can use the Tamron, no problem. Yeah, this lens is also awesome, really good image quality, solid image quality, and you can also get really up close to subject. It has very close focus distance, and yeah, the build quality is awesome and feels really good in your hand. It's a little bit heavy than other lenses, a little bit heavy, but I really like this lens. It's awesome, badass. I haven't got the chance to test this lens much yet because I got this at the very end of 2019. So since the beginning of 2020, I haven't got a chance to go out, and yeah, right now we're locked at home. So yeah, don't get to test this one, but once the lockdown is removed, we're gonna go out to shoot with this lens as well. This lens and 70-200. I'm gonna test all those wonderful lenses, and I'm gonna test my gimbal as well. So a lot of awesome content is gonna come out, and once the lockdown is removed, we'll stay tuned. So let's see what's gonna happen. Hopefully we can capture some wonderful moments, some wonderful landscapes. Cool. So that is the complete collection I have right now for 2020, and we'll see you in the next year, and we'll see which lens or which camera I will sell and which lens I will get in addition to this collection. But I don't think I will sell any of these, because why I don't want to sell any of these? First, the 50-100, this is the camera I use the least, but I can't sell it because it has a defect here. This control wheel, it doesn't work. So when you can't adjust the aperture or shutter speed or ISO with this control wheel, which renders this camera useless in hand of a photographer. But you can still use it to shoot video in auto mode. You can still shoot photo in auto mode, in intelligent mode. But I think a lot of people won't like that. So yeah, I pretty much, you can't sell this camera anymore because it's defect. And I didn't return it in time because I thought, who cares? I can just use this. But in the end, I didn't use it as much, which is a pity. So yeah, if I sell this one, I'll get very little money. It's not worth the trouble even. So I'm not gonna sell this camera. And A6200 is just a 4K beast, and it's so tiny, compact, and I can use my APS-C lenses on it and carry it in my pocket. So I'll never sell this camera either, unless I upgrade to better APS-C camera. Maybe an A7000, who knows? Hopefully there will be an A7000 with a 4K 60p, right? Wide angle lens, 10-18. I will never sell this lens because this is the only ultra wide lens I have, and it's autofocus. It has OSS, and it's a really good value. The market price is about €800, but I got this for only 300 something. So it's a really cheap, really good purchase, and image quality is really good. I heard there are bad copies on the market, but I tested my copy. It's super sharp, no problem, corner to corner sharp. Not gonna sell this either. A7R2, not gonna sell it because it has awesome 4K and big megapixel count. And Tamron 28-75, probably not gonna sell it unless I get fancy 24-70mm f2.8, but I don't think I will. I really don't think I will. I'll trade in this for that. Why bother? I have if I want wide shot, I got this, so really don't need to go through the hassle and lose a few hundreds in the process. A7SII, not gonna sell because it's the only camera that shoots crazy low lights. It's really crazy, incredible. It's so unique, such a unique camera that yeah, once you own this, you really shouldn't sell this. Okay, 70-200. This is the only telephoto lens I have. That's yeah, so probably not gonna sell this lens. And telephoto lens at range above 200 is gonna be very expensive. So I don't think I'll get any above that range, which means there's no point selling this lens. I'm not gonna sell this lens. Wait, unless I get a Tamron 70-180, that is a fantastic lens. That could work. We'll see. But I don't use telephoto lens that much, so yeah, I'm happy with this. Cool. So that is all. That is all. So I don't see that I will sell any of this gear in the next year, but we'll see in 2021 what will happen. You know, a lot of things changed. I also didn't think I would sell a lot of lenses back in 2018, but I did. I sold my 18-105 f4, one of my favorite lenses, and a 24-240. I gave a really good review, a really good comment. Really, I really like that lens, but still I sold it. So we'll see. All right, that's all for this gear talk. I will see you in the next video I have, hopefully. Cool.